We're here with four heavyweights, and interestingly enough, each of their solutions interact very well to achieve flow. Think of each one as the retreat, the cleanse, the meditation, and the yoga. So all together, you leave that experience with flow. There you go. And so with that, we have a commonality that not only is there flow, but there's peace of mind, that the quality of your work is excellent and consistent. Let's hear how these technologies and hardware, Patrick.
Yes.
Hardware, bring this peace. Let's start with introductions. Ironically, the best way to achieve flow is to be like a beaver and live in a built dam. While that stops the flow of water, it will assuredly add flow to your process. And did you know, beavers hate the sound of running water because it makes them think there's a leak. I mean, the commonality is incredible. And they will work day and night to find the leak. Don't be a beaver. And work day and night to find that leaked asset. Find your stuff quickly in a dam, but don't take it from me. Let's hear more from Brian Kavanaugh. Hi, Brian.
Hello. I actually have a tattoo that says "Don't be a beaver" right here. So you nailed it.
I'm not even gonna touch that one.
Show
No,
it.
yeah. No, thank you very much for the introduction. As Christine said, my name is Brian Kavanaugh, and I'm a director of marketing at Binder, which is the leading digital asset management solution. So, show of hands, how many organizations use a DAM currently? Most, half, cool. So, and if not, I'm sure it's been discussed, or if not, it's probably a hodgepodge of SharePoint, Google Drive, local server, channel-specific library where things get uploaded and keep getting uploaded, but then kind of stay there, right? So again, digital asset management, create, manage, and distribute. It's that single source of truth. Our customers will call it a media library, a brand portal, where not only their assets, but their brand guidelines live. And that's kind of it. And in terms of like what we say digital asset management does, create, manage, and distribute, I know a lot of, these other guys, and you all are probably on that create side into the management. And so I'm just thrilled to be here and talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's go around the horn, and then I promise I'll link it all together. That's one of my strengths. Okay, so let's talk about a very clear message from the next person on the panel, where time is of the essence, where they can dramatically reduce your photo studio lead time, free up your creatives, meaning their time, and get images online faster. And that's all from Creative Force. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm Daniel Jester. I'm Chief Evangelist for Creative Force and host of the e-commerce content creation podcast. But I'm not talking about the podcast today. I'm talking about Creative Force. And what we do is we connect your PIM system. Sometimes it's a PIM system. Sometimes it's just merchandisers who send you a spreadsheet. We take that information about the products that need to be shot. We create those requirements to shoot and assign them to workflows and style guides that you build. All of us in e-commerce creative production, we know that it's a production process. We know the steps. We know it needs to be repeatable. Creative Force takes away all of the things that your creative teams hate doing, file handling, file naming. They're very terrible at it, as all of you know. And then we take those assets, we send them out for retouching, we bring them back in, we keep information in context and deliver it to your team members when they need to use it. And then we deliver those assets to a DAM. And that's, our mission at Creative Force, like Christine said, is to just remove those non-value add steps that your creatives don't like doing anyway. We want them to focus on making gorgeous images for you, not on figuring out where they messed up.
What was that you said? What was that 3-word thing you said?
Assign a cost.
Right, so...
Attach a cost.
Attach
Yes,
a
thank
cost.
you. Thank you.
So if you're in the business of saving time, that's assign a cost savings, right? So, okay, so moving on. So, Mark, when we connected before this panel, your energy was just coming through the Zoom. It was like filling my living room. So I can't even partially touch your enthusiasm for your product, OrbitView. Why don't you let everyone have it?
I will. My name is Mark Duhame. I'm the president of OrbitView USA. and we're a manufacturer of automated photography studios. So we build integrated systems, combination of both software and hardware, to help streamline the image capture process, whether that's still images, video, 360 spin presentations. But we have a very integrated system that just helps, again, streamline while still giving you creative control over the process. So we don't want to automate to the degree that puts you in a box where you can't still be creative and create beautiful images. We want to give you the control to continue with your creativity, but also give you the benefit of the quality and the efficiency of the entire workflow. So that's what we do.
Sounds good. So let's next go to Patrick, the industry goat for lighting. What can we say? What can we say? Go ahead, tell everyone how you got the moniker. Go ahead.
So my name is Patrick Bloom. I'm Vice President for Global Sales at Profoto. And what we do is to make sure that all of you who are in this business have the right hardware to shape the light and get that competitive edge from a creative point as well. We have also given now that the industry is developing so fast, looked into how we can also do the repetitive automated things without losing the creativity part, just like you said, Mark. So that's what we do. And also a very important thing, in order to get that productivity in the studios, education is key. How do you actually set up a bay? How do you set up a studio such that you get that flow of pictures ongoing to cope with the volume?
Okay, we can't wait to learn more. All right, so I'm here to ask dumb questions. And so we've got an understanding of the technologies. And the good news is this isn't the dating game for all you Gen Xers out there, if you remember. And you don't have to choose just one to go home with. These solutions work interchangeably and each contribute to better flow. Let me explain. Now, I'm going to pose the flow. You guys tell me if this is right. And raise your hand when I call out your company. So you take the photos. It could be a high-level shoot with the world's leading equipment from Profoto. Raise your hand. Okay. Or at a massive scale with Orbit View. You set up full end-to-end workflows and automate repetitive tasks, clean up complicated processes with Creative Force, and yet keep your existing product information system and can push and pull digital assets to and from your DAM-like binder. How's that? Is that good? Yeah, did we do it?
Yeah, I think so.
See the flow? What do I know? All right, so now your job is to go back to your bosses and say, well, we need all of them. We can't just choose one. It makes the whole thing better. And I am sitting here hearing about the cowhen and the farmer can't be friends. And I think that the more you try to build in software and systems to just work better together, perhaps it will address some of these problems I'm hearing about on this stage. So that's the A block. We're going to do something different, and we're going to stop here and say, are there any questions at this point? Any questions? No questions. Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
I still want to see the tattoo.
So, Brian, when we talked, you mentioned a dirty word.
Okay.
And it wasn't beaver. And I'm going to reveal it to get your reaction, and then you're going to spend more than 2 minutes, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of airtime. There's no questions, so we got to fill this up.
Yep. I'm a little nervous.
And the word you said was download.
Yes.
Okay. Why is that a dirty word? Why is that the dreaded word? And how does Binder address it, obviously?
Sure. So I agree. Download in the future will be a dirty word or a behavior that needs to be, minimized and ultimately eradicated, right? Like we say at Binder, every download of an asset is just an integration that hasn't been built yet, right? If you think about where you're bringing assets back onto your desktop, people download things every day, of course, but every day, at our company, at these other companies, we're envisioning a more connected ecosystem where assets are distributed from the DAM, which is sort of the creative content system of record, right, sitting centrally, to CMS, marketing automation, social media, internal collaboration like Slack or anything like that. And so, yeah, it's probably a long ways out, just given the nature of how we all work with downloading. But yeah, in the future, downloads should not, exist and will be eradicated because the asset ecosystem, so to speak, will be fully connected. So again, that's our vision for, moving forward.
Okay, I like it. So I'm going to go around the horn so you guys are all on the spot. So Daniel, what would you consider a dirty word? And let me define it so the other two, you're on the spot and these two have time to think. A dirty word is defined as something that is painful and should stop because there are options and technology solutions. Examples, download, Excel, Google Sheets, for example, anywhere where you're losing control or losing flow. With respect to Creative Force, what would be something that you would think, our mission is to stop X? Or solve it?
I think broadly I'd say rework is the dirty word, and rework in the photo studio is most commonly related to missing images or misnamed images. Sometimes misnamed images become missing images because they went to the wrong place. But if we wanted to get more specific, I would say that it's that's one of the most common errors in a photo studio that can grind the process to a halt. And then historically, the way to correct that is a digitech or a QA person or a retoucher comes and says, where did this image go? It's not here, it's supposed to be here. And there are technology tools like Creative Force that solve for that. The product cannot move on in the process if the requirements are not met. If you don't put the images, if you don't drop them in the buckets where they belong and send them on their way, you can't move on in the process. And with file naming and handling, or file naming in particular, once we've connected those assets to a product, there's no need, it doesn't matter what those actual images are named because we're going to apply the correct file name to it. Nobody has to touch that. It's all built in and it's automated. It's one of those things that the studios and photographers and teams constantly make that mistake, and it creates rework, and it's just unnecessary.
Okay, I like it. All right, who wants to go next? Okay, go for it.
I don't know if it's sort of a dirty word, deadline, right? So it's in our part of the business, which is the image capture portion, time is a big issue. So no one has time. They're trying to meet deadlines, and they can't meet the deadlines because they have too much image production they have to do. So what we try to do through automation is give you time back, right? And then with that time, you have a lot of flexibility. So actually, that's a good word, flexibility, right?
We should do flexibility.
Yes.
Okay, you did your good word.
Okay.
I'm yoga though, so don't take that from
So
me.
flexibility is my good word.
Okay.
But I think, when we're working with studios, time is the biggest issue. And it's how do you use that time? What would you do if you had more time? Would you look at other types of digital assets to capture? Would you be able to redeploy your creative team to do things that they don't have time to do now? So to us, that's, it's everyone's hitting deadlines and they're having a hard time hitting deadlines. Therefore, they don't have the time to do the things they need to do.
In my research, I definitely saw a commonality across the more tech solutions of addressing time. That clearly is a, agenda item. Patrick?
Inconsistency. Was that yours? Okay, you can. No, but seriously, I mean, inconsistency in terms of, regardless if you're shooting for stills, editorial, or models, whatever, or video, to make sure that the light and the color quality is very consistent, because that's going to make the whole flow and time to market, as you were on, be optimal. And that's what we're all about, making sure that you have this consistent quality and light, regardless how hard you work the technology or the equipment.
So your good word, easy out, is consistency.
High quality.
Whoa. All right, go for it. Tell us.
No, but I mean, it's very much related with consistency. Because if you have that high quality, and especially as we heard from the speakers today, the competitive edge is high quality to be out there when you publish.
Brian, you want to do a good word?
A good word. Let's see. Can I give you a good term or phrase?
Good phrase?
Yeah.
How many words?
2.
Good. Go.
Well, I like to say system of record, but that's a little boring and techy. So instead, I'll just give you brand portal.
Okay, I like it. Do we need to explain that to the people in the back of the room? What's a brand portal?
So think about it. Like, I told you about DAM, right? The single source of truth. And our customers, before they come on Binder, again, it's a hodgepodge, right? You got some SharePoint over here, some videos are on Vimeo or anything else, and there's no real sense of the brand holistically and internally or with external collaborators. But they bring on a DAM, or as long as it's well adopted, and all of a sudden the whole kind of culture shifts and everybody embraces the brand. They know to go to the brand portal, and it's not just marketing and creative, right? It's HR, it's sales, it's so on and so forth. So again, brand portal is like that beautiful term for where everybody knows to get the brand assets. Don't have to nag each other on email or Slack, right? And enable that self-serve to just do what you need to do with your content.
Right, I like that. Daniel?
Can I have a phrase?
Yes.
A phrase?
You may.
Information in context. One of the most important, but also very difficult things to do throughout the creative process is to get the right information at the right time when it's needed. And try to prevent your teams from having to go out and find the information. Creative Force does this really well, I think, which is push information to the people who need it at the moment that they need it. Whether that's how many images they're going to shoot, what they should look like, retouching notes at the moment that the retoucher's sitting down to do the job. Information in context is vitally important, and if you're sending your teams out to go look for it, you're creating opportunities for wasted time.
Got it. Okay, my bad word is returns. Big time. And it's all of your boss's bad word. Because if you are not doing your job and there's inconsistency on the website and bad color or bad copy or the wrong something, and it leads to returns, it's a big problem. And the industry has a big problem. And you guys have the capability of really contributing to stopping this big problem, preventing this big problem, slowing down this big problem. And I don't know if humans alone can do it. Hence, we have technology solutions and the GOAT, the lighting, because that high quality really makes a difference. If that yellow is not the mustard and it's the French's, it's not Gouldens, it's French's, then it's going to come back. And it's a big revenue drag, and it's very bad for Mother Earth. So.
Very well put. Can I add something?
Yes, please. I don't have much left.
A lot of clients, and color is one thing, but with the correct lighting to get the texture of the garments is so key. And we found that if you can optimize the lights, you get the quality of the colors, but also the textures, which minimizes the returns.
Okay, question break before we go to the C block.
Hey Patrick, this is in regards to inconsistency between videos and stills, and I just wanted to see if you had an update on that unit that is a constant and a strobe light.
Get Ryan out of here.
You're never going to leave me alone with that one.
Not until I get the answer I want.
You're going to get the same answer as last time.
Okay.
We never comment on future products. But when we did our IPO, we said we're going to develop 3 areas. And I think we can prove we've taken the first step in one, which is e-comm workflow. The second one is continuous light. And the third one is mobile photography. So stay tuned.
Any other questions?
You mentioned, we could have the pick of the bunch if we were investing in these kind of technology solutions. I just wanted to know if you were a client, how you would integrate. Let's say we pick 3. How do those systems work together? How can we come as an industry to a standard where all of these technologies can speak to each other and use the correct terminology, data points, whatever it is across the board to bring our customers all of this great new technology, but in a seamless way?
Can I take the first stab at that to get out of the way?
Let me say something, because I'm like an outsider and I just want to speak generally, and then you guys go to town. If you have management that's tried things and then decided that this doesn't work, and there has been a duct taping of solutions where there's just a bad interface, those days are long behind us now, and we have APIs and different ways to connect. And there needs to be an explanation. You guys are in the job of educating, and that's what the C block is going to be about. Stay tuned. And to explain to the people who write the checks and help make the decisions and decide where to spend the money that it's not like the old days anymore. And we've moved on.
So just to kind of get out of the way for the rest of these guys to address that question, at Creative Force, we want our customers in our studios to operate using the tools that they like to use. So we integrate with industry standard software like Capture One and Photoshop, and we don't concern ourselves all that much with what is capturing the image. We just need to get those images into our system, and we have several ways that we can do that. Because it's really important to us that we understand and take the position that every studio has a tool that they like for various reasons. We just want to be able to manage that process from the time that the request is made to shoot the thing to the time that it's delivered. So with that, I'll take a step back and you guys can duke it out.
I'll take it, no problem. I think we're seeing a trend from a manufacturer perspective. There's a lot more collaboration going on with companies like us and with Creative Force and with Pixels, where we're talking to each other. I think when we're working with different studios, there's so many different variations and things that people want to do. Everyone wants a custom solution, and it's very difficult as a manufacturer to be the custom for everybody, right? So I think you're going to see the evolution of manufacturers like the ones up here working together more and developing integrations from capture to DAM to studio management. And like Daniel said, if you've got tools you're currently using, we like to know about it and see what we can do to help. Not that we will be the answer for your entire workflow. We want to partner with other companies that you guys use and make sure there's the best integration possible.
Yep, and just one more thought, so I'll give you like two sort of terms, right? At the create stage, we have something in our DAM, not all DAMs have it, called the waiting room, and it's effectively like the place where the admin can approve everything that needs to go in. You can do it in bulk, right, if you have like hundreds of images or something, but it prevents like junk, so to speak, or just anybody uploading anything, right? And you can do it from uploading from a computer, but you can also do it from any application that would sort of push into the DAM, right, such as a Creative Force or anything else. So that's the waiting room at the sort of ingest stage, right? And the metadata can be embedded, right, recognize it automatically and all that. And then at the distribute stage, so to speak, we have something that we call universal compact view. And effectively, all it is if you think about how you would upload or grab an image now in any application, you basically have two options now, right? It's from your desktop or from Google Drive sometimes if that's integrated. Well, you'll see a binder logo and you can hit that and it's essentially a tiled light box of everything that's in the DAM, right? So you can pull things out of your DAM, again, being that central place. So again, the waiting room, the universal compact view, it's that idea of just pushing assets along the life cycle wherever they need to go.
I like what you said, Daniel. And what we want to do is be part of the whole capturing process, anything automation to creativity, and make sure that it's so easy and seamlessly done, and then pass it over to a technology like yourselves. And one thing is being here from a, let's call it marketing, where we're talking and educating us. But from our point of view, it's also very important to engage on a technological point of view, sharing APIs and softwares, and see how can we make those hooks into different platforms to make it flow easier.
You have to, it is a thing, you have to assign it, whether it's to yourself as a project, but you have to do research on companies that, and talk and vet and find ones that work well together, like this, or others, but it's there. It's not no longer there. It's there, but you have to really kind of do your homework.
And I think just to elaborate on that a little bit, it's also really important just to ask the question, because like we at Creative Force, we do 2-week development sprints. We have limited resources on what can get into a sprint. Because we don't have an integration today doesn't mean that we aren't either working on it or open to the idea, but we don't want to go out and try to build integrations in advance for every single piece of technology or adjacent software that our customers might want to use. We wait for that customer to come to us and say, hey, we're using this today. Can you integrate with it? The answer is probably yes, but we'll also be honest with you about it. We'll look into it and we'll figure it out. So don't be afraid to ask. If we don't have it today, we might be able to help.
Dovetailing on that strategy is you pick your biggest pain point, you pick the solution that solves it, and that becomes your flagpole, and then you can build around it. So, but before you sign on that flagpole, you want to make sure they play nicely in the sandbox. You don't want to limit yourself. These are the types of questions that you'll ask. Any other questions, or we'll move on?
I almost forgot that was a question that we were answering.
But it also has to be scalable. And the way you are
100%.
experiencing the volume and how you need to change on a constant basis, when you build that interface or technology just to make sure it's scalable. And that's so much harder said than done.
That's one of the criteria for sure, that you're either building into it or it's solving the problem immediately. ASOS has it in-house. You know, it's the big question, build or buy. And I would say most of you are in the position to buy, in other words, have a SaaS solution or something along those lines, so that you're not going to build your own system. You're going to find things that work for you. Okay, so now I'm going to ask, can you play the video?
One more
Technology.
Okay, guys.
There we go.
Third time's the charm.
I call it the wheel.
I don't think so. What does it do?
The rules.
Yeah, so does a bagel, okay? A bagel you can eat. One of the worst ideas I've ever heard.
Brother David, behold, the fork.
I got 10 forks right here, baby! Am I right? Huh? My lord?
What is it?
A toilet, my lord. A toilet? You expect this court to do its business inside? We're not animals. We go outside like humans.
It's coffee. It's new.
Oh, it's awful.
You don't like it?
I'm all jittery and feel like I got a big job coming on.
You sign first.
No king! Gentlemen, have you taken leave of your senses?
The people shall have the right to vote.
Even the stupid ones?
Yes.
Stupid people vote?
Yes.
Edison, can I be honest with you? It stinks. Does your wife know what's going on here?
She knows I go to work.
You're wasting your time, and it's sad. You might as well put the dishes in the shower.
Hey, Catherine, what's cooking? We're putting a man on the moon. Are you out of your mind? I can't even get tuna without celery. Nobody's going to the moon, ever.
Why not?
It's too far. It's far. It's really far. It's far.
我々の未来はポータブルミュージックです。
バカかバカかわかるだろうわかるだろうわかるだろう
出ていけ
みんないるのか怖いんだバッタリがいつも言えるぞバッタリどこバッタリ
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
So, if equality, the loo, portable music were all bad ideas, you have a case of innovation and laggards. So what you're going to do, I'm putting the mic down, is you're going to take this from home and you're going to walk into the decision maker's office and put it on their desk and say, don't be Larry David. And then fill them in on why adoption to technology and solutions and having an open mind about it and open budget for it is the way to go. That's it. Questions?
Applause.
You guys want to add?
Yeah, I can add something to that because I think that was a really great way to put it. At Creative Force, we understand that by implementing Creative Force in your studio, it is a huge project, an absolutely huge project. And every studio is a little bit different. Every style guide is different. Every shoot requirement is a little bit different. And it can be really difficult. One of the difficulties that we have at Creative Force is demoing the software in a way that speaks specifically to the studio that we're talking to. And really, what everybody actually wants to see it in use. But then we're spending a lot of time configuring Creative Force to show it in a very specific use case. And then it's like, well, is our team going to like it? Are they going to like it? So we try to make it really easy. When you think that Creative Force is the right tool, to give you an opportunity to work with it. You know, we don't do a free trial or anything like that because it's just too much work to onboard a new customer on the basis of a free trial. But we do have ways to solve for that, to give you an opportunity to evaluate it, make sure that it's the right tool for you. And we're pretty confident that you're going to come to the conclusion that it is the right tool for you. But we recognize it's a huge thing to upend your studio and to say, get rid of that Google Sheet, get rid of those homebrew barcodes and use this system and retrain all your photographers on a new system and all the art directors. So we try to make it as easy as possible to really take the time, evaluate the tool, and make sure that it's the right one for you. We think it's a yes, but we want you to make that decision.
Yeah, I just say we're the same way. I mean, when we talk to clients, one of the first things we tell them, are you willing to change? Right? Because when you adapt new technology, it's going to fundamentally change the way you work. So you have to be open to doing it. And if you do, the benefits are huge. So same thing. We try to understand bottlenecks, understand problems, and we're problem solvers. And the better we understand it, the better we can solve your problem. But it starts with being willing to change. You have to be willing to change.
It's a little bit of a played out phrase, but it really is true. It's a mindset and it's a digital transformation. So I see a lot of human touch built into things that I'm hearing, and so it's different. You're gonna ease your way to different forms of automation. We haven't talked about AI. No need to right now. That's like, crawl, walk, run with respect to opening your mind first to adoption and then move on to actual implementation. Brian, you want to add something?
Yeah, what I would add is, the best business cases that I've seen for DAM cover both the operational as well as the strategic. Operational meaning we're wasting too much time, and strategic meaning we need to build a digital experience, right? Or we need to do more online sales by 2025 or something. And you just never know. I mean, you might have a sense of the stakeholders, what they care about most, but you sometimes might not know. So that's, if it covers both, the operational and strategic, it has a decent chance. And like CEOs care a lot about employer brand right now, right? So I've seen that be on business cases, not even about the e-commerce, the social. It's like, hey, we need to hire the best talent. And a lot of times that's what executives care about, at least in 2022 with the current job market and everything. So it's like, again, that multifaceted business case that tells a complete story, not just like we're wasting too much time or we need better photography, has the best chance.
I gotta tell you, the idea of not having to email somebody to find the company logo that I need is like amazing.
Yeah. And people
Which
still
version
do it
is it?
plenty at some
Oh,
point,
yeah.
It's like having a fork to eat with. Wow.
Yeah, at Profoto, we're obsessed with light shaping. And what's the difference? I mean, more light is not going to make it, but if you know how to shape the light, you're going to get the results you want. Yesterday, I visited a huge e-comm studio, and they've developed their own light shaping tool in order to be more productive shooting necklaces. And the way they did it was just awesome. So what I want to say with it is education and learning also from the customers who are actually doing the production and seeing how creative they are and actually helping us develop new light shapers is awesome.
Fantastic. We'll leave it there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.